What's up, YouTube? It is your boy JB, and I am here today with the review for the mid-season finale of The Haves and the Have-Nots. This is season 7, this is episode 10, and it was titled Banana Foster. So you guys, without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into this anticlimactic ass episode. Alright, you guys, so the episode, it picks up basically where last week's episode left off. You guys remember, Wyatt and Catherine was in the jail cell. Wyatt is talking about, oh, Mom, I'm gonna kill myself. He sliced himself right here. Now, there are veins right there. I noticed, there aren't veins. But you're not, you gotta go deep. If you're trying to kill yourself, Wyatt, go deep into your skin and cut the vein. Like, Wyatt just gave himself a surface wound. I'm just like, okay. And Catherine's up there just screaming, guard! 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 I'm like, Catherine, no one cares, obviously, because ain't nobody come running, and the inmates just looking like shit. He fool enough to, slice his wrist and shit, let him do it. He ain't hurt himself. So, then he talks about how he's talking about how this will be good for her and Jim, but she's like, no, Wyatt, we love you, Wyatt. Then why did you say you didn't love me, Mom? I was mad, Wyatt. I was mad. Wyatt, you know what? I mean, you tried to kill your father, and you shot a bullet at her. So what do you expect for her to feel? You expect for her to be like, oh my God, my son is on drugs. My son is going through a lot. Well, she could have, but I mean, I don't know anybody that someone shot at them and tried to kill them. I don't think I would be so forgiving of that, especially only a few hours have passed. Yeah, nah, you looking kind of foolish, Wyatt. Like, he's been a super duper extra. And it's just like, okay, can we be done with this? I'm just in there thinking to myself, can he just pass the hell out? Because he's getting on my damn nerves. And, he was talking about these banana fosters, how, he wanted them as a kid. Then he came home, he was 7 years old. This was after what happened with the priest. He's also talking about how, she would yell at him. And, she would be sick of him after a week. Well, Wyatt, I'm sick of you after only 5 minutes. I'm sick of you. Sick of you. Pass out. Like, do me that favor and just pass the fuck out. And she's talking about apply pressure to it. Wyatt, please apply pressure to it. Catherine, it's a surface wound. He just nicked him. It's like, when you're shaving, you just nick yourself. That's all Wyatt did. Wyatt, like, when you're cutting your potatoes or, cutting any kind of fruit or vegetables or whatever, you know how you just accidentally cut yourself? Well, that's what Wyatt did. He basically accidentally cut himself. All they have to do is just stitch that shit up and he'll be good to go. Like, come on, Catherine. You doing all this theatrics for Wyatt, who doesn't even know how to kill himself correctly. Just putting the obvious out there. So then let's jump over to the hospital. So at the hospital, we see Jim's no good ass. And Jim is, he called Akil down there. He's telling Akil that, like, you know what, I'm not doing anything that involves the Malones. He's like, I don't want you to do anything with the Malones. That's neither here nor there. What I do want you to do, however, is I want you to take out Veronica Harrington. But when you take her out, make it look like an accident. But then he said, like, something blowing up, but that's not an accident, Jim. If a plane were to blow up, her car were to blow up, that's not necessarily accidental. Erica! I can't get that out of my head, Erica. Cannot get that out of my head. That she was charred in that car. Although the car was spotless, but she was... We're not going to talk about Erica. But, Kyle's like... not Kyle. Akil's like, okay, I got it. Don't know what I want to do, but I got something. I'll figure it out. So then as Akil leaves, he gets a call... Jim gets a call from Kyle. So Kyle is talking to him. He's like, are we on a secure line? I'm on a secure line. Are you on a secure line? And I'm thinking to myself, Kyle, how are you on a secure line when you're in your office? Wouldn't that phone be, it's a government phone. You're a government official. So wouldn't that phone be kind of traced some kind of way? I could be wrong, but I'm just like, this phone, you're in your office, so that phone is not your property. It's property of the government. So, yeah, that's not necessarily a secure line. But, if you want to say a secure line, go for it. But he also tells Jim that he's all over, the situation that he talked to him about. He's going to reach out to them tomorrow. But the other part, he can't really help him out with because it's at this point it's a murder charge. At first, it was a conspiracy to murder, so can't really help him out. And the whole thing that he did for him with Candace is not big enough to repay this. So Jim is like, if you help me, I got you. So he says, okay, cool, got you. So once he gets off the phone, I can't remember what that dude's name is that works for him. I cannot remember that dude's name to save my life. He's actually unimportant, to be quite honest with you. But he's telling Kyle that Jim Cryer, you shouldn't trust him. You should be apprehensive about him. He's not someone that's on the good side. So just be a little bit on the defense when it comes to that one. And then he's also telling him how the tides have turned against in the press for Candace. And he was like, you think he knows who did it? He's like, no, who? I mean, come on, it's obvious. It's not Charles, but it's someone that Charles killed. Come on, like, you guys got to be smarter than that. Dumb. Everyone on the show is dumb. Let's move on. Alright, guys, so let's move over to the true dumb, and that is, you guessed it, Benny. So Benny pulls back up to the crib. Mitch is there, and he has a new tow truck. I'm like, Benny is not going to get enough of these tow trucks, huh? Thought you learned your lesson last time when Candace, kind of, put your house up, put your tow company up, and her house up as collateral, and Jim took it from you. Thought you would have learned your lesson then, just be like, hey, you know what, the tow truck business just ain't for me, but obviously Benny ain't that smart. Well, we all know Benny ain't that smart. But, I mean, again, this is Jim's money, so Jim is going to, okay, Benny, enjoy that little tow company while you got it. Then he went and bought 2 trucks, one for him and one for Mitch. So, while they talking, up pulls Candace in a truck. And, they were like, you bought this truck? She's like, yeah. They're like, you bought it for you? She's like, no. I bought it for you, Mitch, because I'm tired of seeing you around in that raggedy-ass car that you got. He was like, hey, don't talk about my car. Yeah, I was looking at his car, telling him, like, damn, for you to be in a mob family, you drive the rickety, raggediest car. But, what, Mitch uses his Malone name when he wants to. So, they're talking about the fact that Hannah is going to be pissed. You're right, that Hannah is going to be pissed. So then they go inside, and they didn't, I'm like, how do y'all not see her in the corner? Yes, I get it, it's dark, and yes, I get it, she's black. But even I saw Hannah in the corner. I'm like, y'all really don't see Hannah in the cut right there? Because they just talking about what they got, Benny with his truck, Mitch in his truck, how Candace going to leave. It's like, oh, okay, so that's what y'all doing. Y'all didn't get the damn money back. Hannah. No, they didn't give the money back. Would you have given them... Now, here's my thing with Hannah. I get it. You want to do the right thing. But, number 1, Jim had Benny kidnapped. Number 2, he had you call him Mr. Jim. Number 3, he basically had you begging for Benny's life. No, I'm sorry. I'm on Candace and Benny's side and I can't believe I'm saying I'm on Benny's side. But I'm on their side for once. Stick it to the man. Like, stick it to Jim. Jim is an ass. So, what? And you're doing the same thing, Hannah. Like, you doing the same thing, just differently. Catherine gave you her, her assets. Candace just kind of stole it. I mean, touche. But, y'all both y'all all are sticking it to Jim. So, so yeah, like I said, she's pissed off. She says, so what y'all gonna do when Jim comes after you? He's not coming. Candace says he's not coming after us. How do you know that he's not coming after us? Just know that I know. Oh, you going gangsta on me, huh? So then Mitch chimes in. He says, well, I may have had something to do with that. So I had a conversation with Jim. And Ben's like, you had a conversation with Jim? Yes. And, Hannah is just giving it to all of them. Like, Mitch, you mind your business. Let me talk to my kids. So then, Benny tells Hannah to get over it. And she says, no. He says, because Candace gave me a meal. So he tells her, he says, I'm keeping it. She says, okay, well, if you keeping it, Get your shit and get out. I'm like, there go cussing Hannah. There goes cussing Hannah. He says, you know what, I'm going to go out and buy a house, maybe a small one, about $200,000, and then you going to come stay with me. She says, no, I am not. He says, oh, so you okay with freeloading? I said, no, he did not. Just sit here and say, she's okay with freeloading. Benny, let's think, my friend. You've been freeloading since the beginning. So, when in Hannah's old house, before Quincy drove his car through it, you were doing what? Living with Hannah. Isn't that correct? Then the house that Candace bought for you, oh yeah, that's right. What happened? Candace bought that house for you. You didn't acquire that house. So once again, living off of somebody else's, I can't say money, but living off of someone else. And then this place that you guys are, the hotel that you guys were in, who was paying for that hotel? Oh, that's right, it wasn't you, right? And then this place that y'all are in now, who's the freeloader? Oh yeah, that's right. You are. You are the freeloader, Benny. Don't call talking about she freeloading. It would, if I was Hannah, I would have slapped the teeth out of Benny's mouth. Talking about freeloading. Freeloading. Freeloading? Okay. But she tells him once again, get y'all stuff and y'all gotta go. Don't come back here, because if you do come back here, the police will be here for what? Because you stole that money. Well, technically we didn't steal the money. Well, we'll see what the police say about that. I'm just like, Hannah, it's Jim. He's a dick. Do we care? Not really. Like, I don't get why we care about Jim, but yeah, I mean, I guess. Let's move on. Now let's talk about good old boy David. So I thought David was supposed to go to the police station to check on Wyatt, but he didn't. He went home. When he walked in, he started tiptoeing past Jeffrey. I'm like, dang, watching Jeffrey get banged out got you shook like that. I mean, damn, it wasn't that bad. I mean, let's say, at least you didn't see Madison's, ass in the air, or Jeffrey's ass. That would have been definitely scarring, but at least they went under the covers. But I mean, I get it. You don't want to walk in on a family member having sex. I get it. I definitely do get that aspect. And then I get it in Davis. I get it in Davis' respect. It's something different from him. If Jeffrey were with a girl, he'd be okay with it. But since Jeffrey's with a man, it kind of, freaks him out. It kind of weirds him out, freaks him out. I get it. I'm not gonna judge David for that one, but I did tweet, David, you acting like we don't know that you and Jim are butt buddies. But David says, you know what, he'll be fine. He just didn't expect to see that. But you didn't. But it'll take him some time to get used to it. But he says basically what he wants for Jeffrey is to be happy. And Jeffrey asked him, so you never experiment when you were in college? Well, he grew up in a different time. In his time, ow, it hurt. Oh, excuse me, y'all. In his time, y'all just gonna let me choke up like that? Shit, goddamn. So in his time, men who were gay were on the deal, so they didn't really put their business out there like that. But, Jeffrey's telling him that, well, me and Madison are going out on a date. Is it cool if I bring him back here? David says, it's cool if you bring him back here. Just lock your door. And he was like, cool. Just make sure next time you knock. So we setting boundaries. That's all it's about. Boundaries. Boundaries. You guys, I really don't understand. Now, let me talk about this. I don't understand these scenes with, like, Conley, Charles, Kyle, Landon, Oliver. I'm not understanding these scenes with them. But we got this scene again with Kyle. That guy that works for him comes in. He's telling him about Conley being the attorney general, which they already knew that. And, he's talking about how he was upset about this whole situation with Candace. And he wonders why. Then he's like, you know what? Maybe Charles was in love with Candace. Okay. And then he says, you know what? He also says, make sure that everything that they've done over the last 8 years has been by the book. And if there's any evidence, to get rid of it. And then he also says that, he believes that Candace knows exactly who he is, or she has the inclination as to who he is. So what he wants him to do is to take Candace out, make it look like, it was suicide, and then have it be done on federal property so that way they'll have a case. I'm like, so you think people are really going to believe that she was depressed that badly that she would go on government property and kill herself? Okay. Okay, Tyler Perry. Okay. I know one thing. The second half of this season, can we stop talking about this damn money? Let's move on. Alright, you guys, so next up we got Veronica and her crash course dummy name. What is that girl's name? Laura, Linda, Lucy. I think it's Laura, right? I think that's that crash course dummy's name. Because that's all Veronica's using her for is a crash test dummy. To go, boom, boom. To take the hit for her. Literally, take the hit for her. So yeah, she tells her like, go pick up my laundry. She's like, okay, take my car. Well, I could take the bus, girl. I don't want my clothes on a bus, roach infested. But now buses don't have roaches on them. Just let that be out. Just put that out there, because I've ridden the bus. They might not be the cleanest things in the world, but they're not roach infested. Veronica, girl, you act like you. I know Veronica had to grow up in the hood. Like, I can't stand bougie, uptight, sedity black people like that. That, once they get a little money, they forget where they came from. Like, girl, you came from the hood. Or even middle class. Even middle class. You were not, high up like you are now. Like, I just really cannot stand black people like that. No offense to black people like that, but I just don't like you guys. I really can't stand sedity black people. I cannot. Like, I'm a little bougie. I ain't gonna sit there and lie to you guys and tell you I ain't bougie, because I am. Like, I was talking to one of my friends talking about, how I won't go back and live in the hood. There's a reason why I won't go back and live in the hood, because I grew up in the hood. Once I went to college and did better for myself, I'm like, you know what? I love my upbringings. It made me who I am, but I do not want to go back there ever. Actually, speaking of which, so yeah. I mean, if I do go back to the hood, which I am, ish, my neighborhood that I grew up in, I mean, unfortunately, it is a drug neighborhood, but aside from that, it's kind of quiet and nice, and there's a piece of property next door to my grandmother's house that I want, and I'm going to go try to buy the property and build me a house there, so that way I have another family house. Well, I guess I'm not necessarily taking myself back to the hood, but I am taking myself back to the hood. That, you guys probably didn't care about that, but let's move back to the episode. So, there's a knock at the door, and Veronica sends, what's old girl's name? Laura, to the door. Veronica here. I'm like, Veronica, you ain't shit. Like, the girl doesn't look like you at all. The girl is shorter than you. The girl is smaller than you. The girl has bigger breasts than you. So the girl doesn't look anything like you. The girl is younger than you. But, if Veronica wants people to believe that that is her, so I'm guessing Veronica was expecting for, so you think people don't know that you have a maid? So she's just going to walk up to the door and they're just going, pow, 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 shoot her? I mean, they could. They could. But, then Rodell comes in. He tells her that there is a foreign guy that is after her. I wonder, how do you know about a kill? Because this is a kill he's talking about. How the hell did he know about that? That made no sense. How the hell did he know that? He tells her that, she needs some protection. She says, I got it covered. Yeah, you got it covered with the crash test dummy in Laura. Which I hope Laura runs for the hills. So let's move over to Madison and Jeffrey. So Madison and Jeffrey are out on their date. Madison ain't worried about food. Madison wants to get that in. So Jeffrey's like, what if you feed me, we can get back to it quicker. I'm like, no. From what I do know about that, you would want to eat, you would want to starve well, one of them would want to starve themselves, because, I mean, that's going to be a sticky situation, and not a good sticky situation, if you know what I mean, when they have sex. That's not going to be a good sticky situation. So then let's move back over to the crash test dummy and Laura. So we see Laura at her crib, and Laura has a plan of her own. So Laura is not as stupid as we think she is. Or is she? Laura and her man want to set up Veronica. They have marked Veronica. They want to rob Veronica. I'm like, I don't necessarily know if that's the person you want to rob, but you know what, Laura? Go for it. Go for it. Again, I just don't know if that's the person that you want to rob, but mama, do you. So then we close the episode out, which this scene made no sense to me whatsoever. But we see Candace and Benny. So Candace is packing to leave. Benny is on a computer, and he's telling her, she's talking about how she hates now that she and Hannah are not on good terms because she was contemplating giving that money back. Benny said she would have regretted it. Do I believe she would have regretted it? Actually, yeah, I actually kind of do, because I would have regretted giving $8 million back to Jim Cryer of all people. So, then he says he's looking up some information on Derek. So he notices that Derek was in jail, and then I was so confused. Maybe it was his mugshot. Maybe he had like a wife beater on, but he could see the lion tattoo on his chest. And he said, wait a minute, didn't mama say that the man that raped her had a lion tattoo on his chest? And that, you guys, is where this half of the season ended. So, like this video, leave your comments, subscribe to the channel. Hit that bell notification button so you guys know when I drop anything else. Share this video, and I will catch you guys on Thursday for Nope. I don't do Growing Up Hip Hop, and that's going off. For Hip Hop Marriage Boot Camp Hip Hop Edition. So until then, you guys, later.